Joining us live from the Narendra Modi Stadium, one half of the border Gavaskar trophy, that is Sunny Gavaskar, will soon be joined by the other half in Allen border. But Sai, firstly to you, you've covered many a test match, but you must be coming to the ground. You must have seen all the security, fans queuing up. Have you seen this sort of excitement before in an India-Australia test match?
Well, I can tell you, this is the first time I've actually I'm coming to the ground when the moon is setting and not the sun is rising, because I've taken a couple of pictures of the moon set as we've come to the ground, and it's still around. So the moon will probably take another 20 minutes for the moon to set. But so it's a different feeling altogether, but quite exciting to have the two leaders of the countries which are going to be doing battle on the cricket field. To have the two leaders coming down to especially watch the game, I think that's a very exciting feeling.
Is India-Australia cricket now hotter than the Ashes? I mean, the Australian Prime Minister said, there is this fierce competition, but is this the big thing now?
Yes, I think this rivalry is. I don't know about the Ashes situation. But I think this rivalry definitely is something that the cricket fans of both countries, and in fact cricket fans all over the world, look forward to, because it is well fought. Teams are very, very, very competitive. There's some unbelievable talent in both the teams. There are great players in both the teams, and so therefore I think cricket is always very exciting when India and Australia play against each other.
All right, Sai, just in terms of the series, it is being held at the Narendra Modi Stadium. Both the Prime Ministers are going to be there. Do you think this is the ideal venue, the perfect venue? One, because it also overtakes the MCG as now being the biggest cricket ground in the world, and it's a series between India and Australia. And if there is a place for cricket diplomacy, no better venue than this one?
Absolutely, no question about it. I think this is a magnificent venue. I mean, what Motera has become since the time we first played in 1983 to what it has become now, it is absolutely spectacular. I was in the car with Matthew Hayden, and as we were entering the stadium, he said, this is a proper stadium. Mind you, he's been here before for the IPL finals last year. But, every time you come to Motera now, you continue to, get more and more impressed with what you see. So clearly, I think, yes, I think it's a spectacular venue. It'll be a record when, more than 100,000 people turn up today and maybe over the next couple of days. So I think, yes, for the final match of the series to be played in Ahmedabad, I think this is absolutely very, very appropriate.
Right, so anyway, could you put this into cricketing context? How important is this test match? The series is at 2-1. Of course, there's the World Test Championship also to look forward to. But in terms of, a visiting team coming here, the series is at 2-1. Seldom do we see any visiting team win 2 test matches on Indian soil. Then the entire controversy around the pitches. Just put into context, how important is this test match?
This is important for a lot of reasons. Firstly, for India to win and make sure that they qualify for the World Test Championship. So it's important from that aspect. It's also important from the fact that if India go on to win, and obviously then they will play Australia in the finals, it's more of a psychological advantage that 2 months down the road, when you play Australia in the finals, you've just beaten them 3-1. So in that aspect, never mind if you have beaten them in India, and English conditions might be slightly different. You get that confidence. And as a team, you want to always show that when you play against the #1 team in the world, that you're better than them. So in that context, I think it's a very, very crucial test match.
A crucial test match indeed. Sai, have you had a chance to look at the 22 yards, or what are you picking up from there? Because as I mentioned, the biggest talking point has been the pitch. But traditionally also, what do you expect how the Motera pitch is going to play in the next 3 or 4 days?
No, I haven't actually gone down as yet to the center. I'm looking to go down, and I've got to do my pitch report a little later. So after this is done, I'll go down and have a look at the pitch. But look, I think too much is made of a pitch, particularly when it concerns pitches in India. There's always this little talk about it, people making excuses. In case they lose, oh, this is, doctored, this is this. As if, pitches overseas are conducive to visiting teams. Never. Wherever you, and that is the big plus. That's the big advantage. That's the big challenge when you go overseas to play. When you go to England and play in England, the pitches are there which seam. So that's a challenge. When you go to Australia, South Africa, the pitches are pitches where there will be a little more carry and bounce. So that's a challenge. To expect the pitches to be as similar as the ones that are back home is ridiculous. It just absolutely nonsensical, because you won't get them.
Right. Saima, just talk to us a little bit about India-Australia cricketing relations as well. As we've been mentioning on our broadcast, 75 years of India versus Australia cricketing relation. The first ever tour that India went on overseas was to Australia in 1947. Since then, you've been part of many battles between India and Australia. How do you see the relation, the cricketing relations over the years between India and Australia?
I think the cricketing relations have improved. Most importantly, I think Cricket Australia has recognized what Indian cricket brings to the table. Look, I think when we go back, 1947, immediately after we got independence, 3-4 months after that, was the first tour that India made to Australia. The next tour was 1967. In between, there were 3 tours by the Australian teams to India. Those were the days when television was not a factor. Those were the days where gate money was the factor. And India obviously wasn't considered an attractive proposition. So it took 20 years for the Indian team to go. The next trip the Indian team made was 10 years later in 1977, when World Series cricket was first formed. And that is when it was such a close series. And that is when a lot of the Indians were already now had moved to Australia to study and to be professionals there. So there was a lot more gate money coming through. After that, things changed and Australia started inviting India quite regularly. But ever since the IPL has started and India has started to become the financial engine of world cricket, everybody wants India to come regularly. So we've had this situation where India was in Australia 2018-19, and then they were there in 2020-21. So within 2 years. So that is the understanding that now the cricketing world has about Indian cricket's drawing power. And I think that is being recognized by the Australian. Also, by now having a 5 test match series, not a 4 test match series, now between India and Australia. One more test, that much more money coming into the coffers through television. So I think that is something that Australian cricket has recognized. I think it will be also fair if Australian media recognizes what Indian cricket does. Indian cricket and IPL has made millionaires out of Australian players. So I think when the Australian media does write about the pitches, etc., I think they should be a little more considerate of what Indian cricket has done for Australian cricket.
All right, Saima, thank you so much for joining us on this special broadcast. Of course, Sunny Gavaskar now needs to head to our sister channel, Aaj Tak, and shortly we'll hear from the other half of Border Gavaskar Trophy, as I've been saying. That is the other man to have scaled 10K after Sunny Gavaskar, that is Alan Border. Saima, thank you so much for joining us on India Today.